The metal of Hua Sun begins to form. The wings of tomorrow's flowers fluttered. Every wing begins to fall. One cotton and then another. Soon after, 10 flowers will bloom. Hundreds of flowers tomorrow. The field of martial arts is completely covered by Hoa Mai. Endlessly free to change endlessly. Standing in front of that scene, the enemy will be swept away by that beautiful aura. I can only see that my body is starting to break down. Then, is that a lot of his bodies are showing up at the same time and rush towards the enemy. When the road is not ready to react, all around is the body of the sage. He stammered and covered the world. How can you do that? The old man's cold voice. Let me show you. What will the image of the dragon boat be like? The best paint. 24 food tomorrow, Hoa test tomorrow, Hoa full heaven. Hundreds of thousands of wings, Hoa natural gas variation. It's everywhere. The rain of wings. And the dance of the wings. Assault in the direction of danger. It made him scream in pain. How did this bastard? Don't stop. The wind began to continue its momentum. Hold on to your sword. And your bodies are falling apart. The road is crazy. Flying the wings of the future flower to the moist side. The sword of Ming and his monopoly. VA touched together. He didn't stop. He kept punching and screaming. The danger of the road. Will not lose. But no matter what, his punches are only punched at the illusion. The other lights are coming. It doesn't matter how he struggles. Just like leaving the sea. The sword and the body of Than Min, like the raindrops pounding towards him. 2 hands swinging the line so fast, leaving only the remnants. But after a while, he realized in vain. This is the sword. What is it? Why is it that he can? It's just rain. That's right, it's just a dream. This sword is like a dream. Hoa Paint Story restarts episode 149. After the end of the story. Tomorrow's flowers still flying in the stands. I saw a fight. I can't help but surprise everyone. It's not just flowers, paint, but it's also all the members of the field around. And at the same time, the wings of tomorrow, it seems to be spinning around the world, suddenly melted like snow under the spring sun. At the back of the Ming, the road is now completely broken, but standing unsteady. Danger's clothes have been ripped apart for a long time. From within the cracks, you can see countless small and large wounds. It's a very difficult way to talk. What is your magic sword? He pulled his sword into the landing gear. My Hoa full heaven. It's tomorrow. Rao is the sword of the flower. Silently thinking. This swordsmanship is not merely the end of the world. The truth is, the master fused his sword and filled the sky. The dance that the road had shown him before. And create the perfect tomorrow. In other words, the sword is of Hoa Sun, but the secret is of the way. Even though the danger line doesn't know it. All the things that you can do, just come here. He's just defeating the dangerous path and destroying his martial arts. At the same time, prove it to everyone. The Senate is a place. How useless. Even if you beat the danger. In front of everyone like this. Everything in the future. It still depends on the will of the road. Than Min turns people around. Look at the members of the school. Including the line of music asked. How is it? Expression of military music and other members of the school. When looking at the light, very complicated and strange. But it's only temporary. He began to breathe and speak. Martial arts this time. Hua Sun God Long. Than Min lack of association of Hua Sun Sect. To have one. A low voice and a clear blue sky. That's also the moment. Alludes to a change in the pathway. A little bit of shyness mixed with a little bit of hope. And then Ming looked up at the sky and muttered. This is okay. He looked up at the sky for a long time. Then bowed down with a bitter smile. There's no way he could hear it. All the words they say. They're all illusions that he created himself. The dead cannot speak. The dead will not come back. He just didn't die when he had to. He fell alone into another world, bring Theo with regret, and he doesn't know what else to do but look at the past. And look back to the past. Xiaoming slowly lowered his head. He looked at his brothers and sisters. And soak Russia in the lap. This guy doesn't have to worry about anything. I will take care of your family and take care of them. Of course, it is not free. As soon as you step on the floor. A martial artist with a sad face. Thank you, master. A voice as familiar as the breeze flying through the ear. Just come back and don't tell me. Don't tell, standing there looking at him and smiling brightly. Make the pupils and the eyes clear. I can't help but relax. Than Min clenched his fist in his hand. Then gently close your eyes. His love affair and the road to this is the end. A promise he couldn't make in his previous life. It was finally done in this life. But then, it quickly disappeared like an illusion. That's why. Close your eyes and rest in peace. Goodbye. My only soul so far. He left the ring and spread his hands. To the brothers. It's his urge. A startled ring. Why is my skin burning like this? It's obviously not poisonous here anymore. Waiting is poisonous. All the white people immediately backed away. At the same time, raise your hand. Wait, your son is standing there. I can't understand hugging these guys. No one is sick. Why avoid me as if avoiding evil? This is the name Kier. Who do you think comes close to you? Your whole body is poisonous. Why did you sneak up on us? It's like nothing happened. If we're poisoned, we're going to die. Do you know? The music road fence soon after. Threw a bucket of antidote straight in Than Min's face. He didn't even have time to turn back. It's like those things still can't be solved. The poison of the road makes the road music pale. Than Min silently scolded. Why do you shake like a dog? This is the form of the subject. He looked at Min with a strange expression. You have to quarantine yourself for about a week. I will help you. Fucking slow at the right time. A fire enveloped the entire body of Ming. Fung, 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 fung. The whole thing's stuck on you. He was burned by 3 campfires. Than Min breathing hong hong ca cam. It costs a lot of money to die. Okay, now he takes care of himself. Don't nod, I know. He walked slowly up to the ring. In front of the road, there is a danger. The Senate is in danger. The way the army turned the interior into his voice. His voice thundered like thunder. Criminals in danger, wake up. Do you know your sins? Blood-riddled eyes. What am I guilty of? If it's a crime to lose to the monster, then we can plead guilty. But it's not the same as me. Look at the road and talk to the air. Make others bleed. The line of music shakes its head. Defeat is not a crime. I want to talk about another crime. Pull up here. The band's eyes turn to one side. The students are focused on words. Road army music. He also looked in the direction of his eyes. That's the master. What is the master doing? Former sub-submissive master of Wei Wei. You are forcing someone to come. He threw him into the ring. I brought him here, good master. The cold military music screams the lines. Subject master. The so-called sugar is trembling. Face down to the ground. If you are here to confess all your sins, I will spare you a life. Don't bite your mouth when you hear those words. Even though Sao is really gone. Supporters say he's a dangerous path, have lost their strength and are falling to the ground. Even if he keeps his mouth shut here, sure. What awaited him was a terrible death. Or a life that is not equal to death. Which way should he choose? Subordinate. What are you going to say? Even though the danger line screamed a warning. But the line keeps talking, as if not hearing his words. Don't talk, Abbot. It's over. There's no one following you now. You've come back so miserable. We can also protect AI. He paused for a moment and continued. Someone ordered his subordinates to put the heliocentric wine and food, Hua Sun God Long, and the person who sent the subordinates to do it. He raised his hand and pointed forward. Is the abbot of the dangerous road, Senate. Hoa Paint Story restarts episode 150. After hearing those statements, all the people of the street immediately panicked. But that's a taboo there. How dare he do such a horrible thing? The white sky at this time also remembers that scold. Wait a minute, the food was poisoned. Then Min, why do you know that and still dare to eat it all? And he said coldly, well, if the food is good, you have to eat it. White sky yells at Mom Beans. That's how important flavor is, or what, this crazy thing. Than Min aesthetic. The use of poison drama against the opponent when asking for martial arts, or against the master, are all to blame. But even if you put all of that together, it's not enough to poison your opponent. Before billion martial arts, because this is a job, goes against the basic line of the road. This case, it can completely shake the roots of the whole thing. If it's not handled properly. Worth it. Back to the street music arena, asked. Are you sure the owner did it wrong? Yes, retainers for sure. He turned to Danger. Do you have any words to justify it? At this point, there is nothing to say. He closed his eyes and let go. It's over. It's all over. Now everyone, I will not watch him. He is the Grand Master of the Way. And for one reason only, it's divided. Enough so that the elders of the Senate lost all my strength and had to retreat backwards. By this one thing, the band had all the power back in their hands. And can Kai manage the course at its own discretion? He raised his master's voice. I'm really just for the road. The band said in an unintentional voice. No matter what you do, the results will not change. The sincerity, it's the only way, so that you can get people's recognition. When we do the right thing together. So don't make excuses anymore. I don't want to get my ears dirty. Take your eyes off the road. Turn around and look. All the members of the class then spoke. I give orders to all of you, as the master of the Sichuan way. Yes, the members of the school. On one knee to the ground. They will be removed from the Senate and was sent to prison for his abominable crime. The Senate will be temporarily closed, and the elders of the Senate, you will not leave the house until the investigation is over. All members of the school must act carefully until it's all cleared up. Obedience to the master. The band turned to look at the light and Dragon Than Min flower. The light is no longer playful. He immediately faced the music in a serious way. There I am. Thanks to your hard work and dedication, that we discover terrible things in time. It's happening inside the body, and have a chance to fix it. As the subject of one of the 5 great worlds. Sichuan Road Gate. Hold your hands together and push forward. Towards the Ming Bao. I officially express my gratitude to you, as well as your brothers and your brothers. An extremely dignified position of authority. This is the supreme ceremony of a master. Members of the school also reacted according to him. Thank you, Flower Paint. Thank you, Hoa Sun God Long. Thank you for the painting. They all bowed their heads in unison. The bosom of the flower disciples painted suddenly become hot when you receive those thanks. We've got the recognition of the curve. Since being kicked out of the state's top 9 factions, paint flowers are always seen as nothing. And it's only been a few years. They've got the recognition of the discipline. Ruling Sichuan. Who can imagine? This day will happen there. At the same time, he took a step forward. Towards the line of music. Exercise the right to reciprocate. the third disciple of Hua Sun. Than Min on behalf of Hua Sun to receive the thanks of Sichuan. And he turned around and took a step back. Why do you keep standing there like that? Master has to do this. Yeah, I know. The sky sighed and stepped forward. Before and then, he just made a power grab with the military. Just opened my mouth. Second generation disciple of Hua Sun. White sky on behalf of paint. Express gratitude for the road. Through this, the friendship between the two sides will become even more connected. I sincerely hope both sides will share the same love later. The music road softly replied with a smile. It's a matter of course. The owner just finished. From the side came applause. Sichuan rode to the evening sky. Hoa painted Twiat. The militaries just held back the Senate. They have all the power in their hands. At the same time, it can be made public. Become an ally with Hua Sun, where the Than Min just knocked down the danger line. It happened so suddenly. That makes everyone. It's hard to understand the whole thing. But just look at the owner's behavior. And the students painted, is that we can all understand. This is good for the road. The cheers still echoed endlessly. Standing between them, shaking his head. It's not that amazing. People cheered a little too much. Than Min. She looked at the light with a full face. Indignant. From next time, if you're going to do things like this, you have to tell us one thing in advance. What does it need? Definitely have to say. Sean is going to say something, but when I see the white sky's eyes, he unconsciously shivered. Those eyes were filled with anger. Even though those poisons don't work for you. But we thought you were dead. This fucking kid's name. The tone in the back whispered, interjected. It's actually not that far. That is right. I think so too. The white man looked at the light and said, remember what I tell you. Next time you do what you want to do, I will absolutely not leave you alone. My lips are going to say something. But then again, his face was twisted and he finally sighed. I know, I'll do it next time. This fucking guy. The sky sighed and nodded. Turn around. White sky grabbed the shoulder of the Ming, turned him to the back. Pictures of the street members cheering. Into his eyes. Wave to everyone. They're cheering for you. He looked at the scene and raised his hand. Oh, that's horrible. Don't stand in the distance and look at the light and shiver. I want to mess with someone like that. Fortunately, his head is still on top. Trillion, this is terrible, isn't it? It's really terrible. Hoa Sun God Dragon is the first world after Kai too. That's very talented. I didn't tell him. Don't pay. Look at your sister with a blank face. The eye of the urinary tract is nailing in one place. When you look at Theo, you frown. When he finds out where his eyes are. Is someone who's out of line. Save let Twyat. From this standard. Yes, billions. I was determined. Don't urinate and look at the snow without blinking. Just like her. I can't take my eyes off the snow. A urinary tract, bite the spoon. And say it firmly. We will enter the painting. It doesn't take too long to resolve the situation on the road. The military music out in a radical way. It's like he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. Take away all the power of the road and threw him in the dungeon. At the same time with unstoppable reasons. The power of the road. The Senate was also closed. And the elders. They are also limited in power, as well as influence. The elders of the state. Do whatever it takes to protect your power. However, the current leadership. It's in the hands of music. Even if the status of the high priest, no matter how noble, but without the support of the family. They don't have a liver, either, against the power of the master. In the end, they had no choice. Apart from being quiet, give up power and get behind. Everyone who's been on the side of danger. Including the crane in turn thrown into prison. During the hazard investigation, the tense atmosphere will envelop the subject. Those who have the most noble status in the world are under investigation. In such a situation, no one dares to move. What that means, music will take advantage of this opportunity to get what he wants. We will slowly investigate. He did it deliberately. Road Music Army nods pouring tea cho Than Min. The owner is scarier than I thought. How to do SAO by Than Min lack half. But will everything be okay? Later, my father will take my place. You will have to touch each other's eyes a lot. You don't mind. I'm not stupid. Although he did make a mistake. But just because of that, it is not worth removing him from his position as a master. In fact, I dismissed the boy's master. Not just because he made a mistake. It's because he's too cowardly. Just look at what it did that time. Then you'll understand. Than Min chuckled and laughed. People also learn from mistakes. No, it's not called a mistake. It's just a mistake. Looks like we just missed it. No, I'm used to it. Keep talking. The master continued to think about it. Why is the danger so trivial? I don't know. I'm curious about that. When I was a young and old man. I'm not that weird. That's because he only knows how to get around. Living in the street. There's nothing that could hurt him. Or miserable. He doesn't know the world is shaped. How the world is. So when he was removed from his position as a master, he still holds little grudges in him. That's how you live. Born a mistake received 7 defeat of wisdom. Humiliation is such that a person can grow up. Or to say the opposite. He stared at the music and said, no one can grow under one person. Take everything from others with a mistake. Silently think. When you look back on your master's suffering, I just realized how bad I used to be. If the master is afraid to speak, Because of his bad temper, it didn't exist. My Hoa swordsmanship, clear in the past and clear in the present. The important thing is not to make mistakes. It's what we learn from those mistakes. The music industry side, yes. It's the basics that we've probably forgotten. Smiling even more. Why are we upset? If it's annoying, it must be that guy who's annoying. The road must be the road. The main road to the master position. He could put a knife in my stomach. Or can you just stab me in the back? The music court heard that argument of Than Min. You have to sweat without a fight. Or I know what you mean. But the wrong way is the truth. So let it be fair. I'll still let it compete for the title. This will also help him grow. Just do what he wants. Oh, and the music says. I also have something important to say. His tone changed. I immediately realized the omen was wrong. Line military music says to P. My little girl. The boy who follows you all the time. He said he wanted to join the church. It's like a lightning bolt hitting your head. To make Min stand in the picture. Hoa Sun's story restarts episode 151. Than Min's 7-tone voice echoed through the hall. Old man, what did he just say? Why do you suddenly want to join Hoa Sun? You're up to something. Don't forget the Psy music or the mind.